So, Penny, when people talk about scaling a business today, a lot of them think that AI is the answer. Is it really that simple?
Well, AI can definitely help you build your business. But you know what? I have seen companies who have been more chaotic when they adopted AI.
If throwing AI at the problem isn't the answer, what does scaling actually look like now?
That's what we're diving into today. We'll talk about how AI changed the rules of scaling.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Business. You're with your lovely host for today. My name is Francis.
And my name is Penny. Thanks again for tuning in to BizNest.
Yeah.
Okay, Francis, AI. I feel like
Yeah, if I hear AI one more, it's literally under. I don't think there's ever been a hotter buzzword
true.
than AI
Then,
ever since
well,
it
right
popped.
now, I think so.
Yeah.
Right now, way back when it was social media, right?
No, I mean we've lived through all of the buzzwords,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think anything has persisted. Start with the dot coms. Right?
Yeah,
Everybody
dot
started
coms.
with the dot com business, which we knew was going to be, which eventually turned out to be, a bubble, and all the way
Mm.
down through, all the way down through like crypto, and then now the word on everyone's lips is AI. But oddly enough, not only has it persisted, it's one of the fastest growing and literally it's upending. I mean, it's not just people investing into it. It's data centers popping up left and right. It's the
Yeah.
application, new companies. At the advent of remember when was it OpenAI who said, "Oh my God, guys, you went up to Congress and said you need to regulate this."
Was it OpenAI? I, yeah, might be.
Yeah,
But
I
I
mean, it
think
was
one of the reasons why it has happened that way is because it just continuously evolves. I remember this study made by Anthropic where like how AI is gonna affect like jobs and like how it's affecting now. They had this graph of how it's affecting now and how much it can affect a certain industry or certain job position. And in that graph, we're not even like half the point of how much it can actually affect businesses and how much it can actually affect job positions. But it's still like everyone's still talking about it. It's because it just continuously surprises you on what it can do. I think, but then also I think from on my end, as much as it surprises me, there are also things where it's like, okay, now I know it can do this. It might not be able to do this other thing right now,
mm-hmm.
but who knows, right?
we're how do you say, we're at the point where everybody's sort of caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember when it was when the cloud was the buzzword and people were like the cloud, like as if it were a physical space
Mm-hmm.
of things to happen when people were like AI. I mean, I admit I hate to say I wasn't an early adopter when it came to AI. You were, I feel like.
I think it's more of because we have a business, it's not a thing where I would just sit by and not
Yeah.
get into it. We were not early adopters in the sense where we implemented it right away with Virtua. We were kind of, I guess, trying to see first what it can do for businesses because before when it got really commercialized because of or commoditized because of ChatGPT, it was more of a individual thing. It took a while for me to understand how it could affect businesses or how to actually even implement it in our business. And now that we're talking about scaling businesses in the era of AI, can we go back a little bit on how was it before? When you say you wanted to scale your business, what were the first things that you would think about?
Well, if as somebody who has scaled multiple businesses, some to the ground.
Scale to the ground.
um, so I mean, it's scaling up or scaling down, right? But let's assume that the scenario is you're looking to scale your business up. the first few things that you would think about: demand, like, are you imagining things, or is there actual demand on top of your current customers? Like, you don't look at it and say, oh my god, we have so much more customers, but it's, not that. And it has to be the non-seasonal kind. It's not
Mm-hmm.
the spikes in demand. Then you look at the demand workload. Are you getting revenue that's predictable? Are you seeing customers that are, turning loyal, meaning third and fourth uh purchases? Are customers retained? Are customers happy? Are margins healthy? And then you can say, yes, I have more overhead, right? That's the first thing
Mm-hmm.
that I would look at in terms of
If you're ready to scale the
if you're ready
business.
to scale. But the first things that, probably if you're in retail, if you find yourself, for example, a pub, and you find yourself with more people than you customers, and more nights that you can deal with your current headcount, then,
Mm-hmm.
the first solution is, we need more people, right? We
Yeah.
need more shifts, and we need more people to cover those shifts. If your current staff is burned out because there's too many customers to handle, right? But now, I guess the question that you're doing right now, let's say, for example, you're a business who is ready to scale. Customer support. Let's say, there's too many uh, pending document changes, and not enough hours to, to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Our documentation team is uh, backed up by at least 6 months because of the number of documents that need to be updated, right? Or the
Mm-hmm.
customer support team is backed up by 7 days because of the number of customer support tickets that come in. Those are indicators of growth. Initially, you'd say, "Oh my God, we need to hire more people." If that's the stats that you're looking at, but now the answer is there anything that AI can accomplish, so that we don't have to
Hire right away.
so that we
Mm-hmm.
don't have to hire right away. So I find that that's how things are starting to go now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what are your thoughts on that? I mean, considering that our business is people. So
Yeah,
before, when
I
we
know.
used to hear a client say the resolution time is increasing because there's just too many people, we know that that means we'll be hiring more people, we'll be onboarding more
Well,
support people soon.
no, not necessarily. So wait,
Well, we start
what I
convincing the
remember,
client.
no, what I remember is if that happens, we go to the data first and see where the resolution is. Like, why is it dropping, right? Whether it's process driven, meaning okay, or process or product knowledge driven, meaning the agent didn't really know how to answer the question, hence the resolution time was
But
longer
you,
at this point. So
okay,
that's it. Let me get this out.
no, I
So
know.
that's different. So we try to do that first, and then right now with the age of AI, right? It's still the same. You kind of look into that as well. For product knowledge, is there like documentation for this? But now instead of, getting all of those tickets, having someone to manually go through them and see what the frequently asked questions are, and then document and everything, you can have AI just scour all of those and then possibly create documentation. But still, some one person still has to be able. It's they don't operate independently that way. Someone still has to be able to, okay, grant access to the AI, whichever one you're using, to scour your tickets and see and pinpoint um, possible reasons, do a root cause analysis before you even go to the documentation. It does make it faster. I will admit that it does make it faster. But then there's also that question about how much access do you give AI to, as compared to having a person, hiring a person to do all of that work, or maybe even the L&D team, right, which is usually the team that does the knowledge base and or even product that goes through it. Comparing AI, which you're not yet sure how much you can actually give it access to, versus a human where there's NDAs that can get involved. You can tell it like that person can actually go to you and say, is this still part of the scope or not? You get the feedback from that person, compared to the AI where you say, do this, and it'll just go do that.
I feel like you're sort of blending a lot of
Mm.
things into one conversation.
Mm.
So when you say I go back 2 points. One, I was assuming that we went through the process of that it is in fact time to hire more people, but
Mm.
that's neither here nor there. But I do enjoy the process of saying, here's the problem, too much workload, here's the people,
Mm.
but what's the root cause? Do they just don't know? Are there new president that they are trained on, or is it just really, historically more tickets? And yes, you can train AI to go through that.
Mm.
And AI can only go through things that it's been told to.
Yes.
So I mean, to be fair, to be very, very fair, you can't just say, parang dive into this because, it's going to say, oh, this resource uh, is blocked by authorization. Has an
Mm-hmm.
authorization wall. So he can't look into it if he doesn't have the right access to it, which I
Mm-hmm.
think for argument's sake is stronger than a person who has an NDA.
That's true. Mm.
Yeah, personally lang, just personally, because the thing is, if you're training your LLM to say, parang you have access to this, you have access to this, and these are the agents. He picks up the skills, he picks
Mm-hmm.
up the authorization, and he can work within those boundaries, right? But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, look at the challenges. When we said your company lacks documentation, therefore, that's the same issues that it will run to, that you don't have enough documentation for your AI to accurately say this is what's missing, or at least maybe that will be the conclusion that it will run to. It can't write it. Well, actually, maybe it can. Wait, I'm trying to access to tickets, access to,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's properly discussed. It still depends on the data that you're feeding it, right?
Yep.
Going into the intricacies of how AI could possibly solve is not the. I don't think that that's the main topic. It's just the idea of, if I am now scaling my business, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I have a small team, do I grow it into a bigger team, or do I empower my small team with more AI? And the question is, if the problem is, for example, in my opinion, if the and examples that we have seen in action, if the problem is there are multiple repetitive tasks,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so multiple repetitive tasks, that's probably an AI answer, right? If it's exploratory, like escalation, special handling, special handling, or technical account management, then that's
Mm-hmm.
probably hiring a person with more skill. Because, so let's just go back to one of those earlier examples where companies were firing entire customer service departments because they thought we could plug the entire very, very well documented knowledge base and say, now AI is our customer service department.
Mm-hmm.
Was not the answer, right? The answer was, take the people with the most expertise, who can a who can encounter new challenges, unprecedented situations, and be able to analyze what to do with it. That there's a human element, there's a human level of creativity that AI cannot, at least in my opinion, that still cannot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, AI needs oversight.
Yeah.
So when you say, here are the common scenarios, it's still not unusual for AI to hallucinate based on these documents. Yung parang, friendship is golden, therefore your friends are worth your time. But
Mm-hmm.
fallacies can happen simply because documents are not are either infallible as well. And then you find out that yes, we also need to update documents. But do you get a more document team, or now do you get a team of your documentation team and empower them with AI? Still needs oversight, right? I guess where are we going with this? That there's a balance between, it's not always AI. I think that's the conclusion, right? Or do you agree, or do you argue,
No,
Penny?
no, no, I don't. I don't argue. I get what you mean by that. sometimes there is this question of what to do first. And yes, we both agree on AI needing oversight, needing someone to tell it when, where to go, what to do, and things like that, right? As far as even with AI agents, you still have to program these AI agents on what to do. So there still needs to be a human element to it. But then as far as scaling your business, I do believe no. No, I do think about, so I do think, I mean, even in our own business, like I do think about this. Do we hire or do we ask the team to possibly use an AI tool to do what the possible hire can do? And I think about it several ways. The one way is what you said right now. Well, you said just now, where if it's documentation and someone actually knows the product, does the documentation first and then trains the AI, then of course it's a person first, right? That I think is the scenario where you have a person who has experience and expertise already in that area of the business and will be able to use the AI tool in enhancing the work that they are currently doing, or can even expand the work that they're currently doing based on their area of expertise. But it's harder to also, so the thing about AI is, so because I've been messing with it a lot, right? And you try to get into, okay, how do I do this? And then you try to have it, you try to learn things like that. Sometimes I feel like even though it gives me a lot of answers, I can't trust it fully yet because of the hallucinations. So sometimes even the studies that it gives me, I still have to review if someone actually did a study and gave me the same numbers. But what I'm saying here is that on that side, when it's a the thing with what I'm experiencing with AI is, if it's not my area of expertise, it's harder for me to understand if it's giving me the right answers or the
See,
right decision.
that's the other argument there. AI wasn't, well, maybe in time, with time, AI can train you to become an expert. But from a business perspective, AI wasn't meant to become the expert. Like,
Mm,
and I still find it funny when you have these the solopreneurs saying, "Oh, I've got my whole staff and it's AI." I say, "You stupid person,"
no, I
because
think the reason why they say that is because they already have a process or a workflow or automation in
yeah,
mind.
yes, but here's complicated scenarios. And the reason why we hire HR experts is because they know what to do from a process perspective. But asking ChatGPT, "Hi, as an HR expert, what do I do if blah blah blah?" It's not meant to replace the expertise of an actual person who again should act as oversight,
Yeah.
because
You needs to come in and say, okay.
it's well documented that AI can hallucinate based on the documentation, right? So it's still
Mm-hmm.
up to somebody to say, yes, this is the right answer. Now, if you're willing to be that person, so I am not, you could literally say, build me, say for example, I don't know, sorry, don't cancel, but let's just do something silly, like uh build me a nuclear bomb, for example,
Mm-hmm.
right? And say, give me the exact formula. Actually, just let's just talk about cake. From somebody who has
But
never
that,
baked.
that might be a better
I know.
topic.
It's just okay. Give me the exact formula
Mm-hmm.
for the best sponge cake, or
Mm-hmm.
even just a cake that you're not familiar with, like Brazo de Mercedes is not known here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or ube cake, which nobody knows, actually goes into ube cake. When you look at it and say, yeah, it looks right, it's not that the expert's opinion on like, because I don't know the ratio of flour to water,
True,
eggs to
true.
water. So you don't, it's meant to help the expert further their craft, so to
Yeah.
speak, right? Like, so if we're, in our business decision, like, help me decide between doing one versus the other, it give me the pros and cons. I can look at that data and accurately say, okay, I'm making an informed decision to go with left, with decision with option one versus option two. At the same time, if you're now a business owner who's playing at I can run this business myself, you're already doomed to failure. Or
I'm just
I mean, not doomed to failure. Sorry, you're not doomed to failure. You've imprisoned yourself
a little
because
bit. A little bit.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go back to what you said earlier. There's this one line, I forgot who I heard it from, where AI is a tool, right? Like even with painting, you can give someone paintbrushes and paint, but they can never be Leonardo da Vinci.
I
Am I
mean,
making sense? Like you can give anyone an AI tool, but if they don't have the creativity and the judgment and the decision making, they can still
because
make.
that's exactly because that's what AI is. It's a tool. It's a tool. It's not, it's not the decision making body. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I wasn't surprised that you came up with with an art analogy.
No, no, I
Um,
didn't come up with it. I forgot which event. It must have been sa Ascon page
well,
where I heard it. But
it spoke to
but
you.
yeah, it
You know,
did. It really did. Because yeah, as far as I've seen it, like okay, we use ChatGPT, Claude, Manos like every single day, right? Like it can tell me what we can do. It can ideate with me. It can like even give me a 90-day plan of what I need to do. But then I still have to do all of it. I think
yeah,
the challenge of scaling right now businesses is you can have all of the knowledge in the world,
yeah,
especially now with AI. It's not even because of Google now, it's because of AI. You can have the knowledge and even have it, created for you, but it's still going to be the human side where it needs to happen. It needs to be implemented by a person. Eventually, probably can some of it can be done by AI agents. Yes, it has been done before, but for things that have not been documented yet, for the processes that have not been tested yet, it's hard to just let AI do all of those things without the human
yes,
side of it.
yes. I mean, is there the possibility that from collective knowledge or say best practices,
Mm.
from a best practices perspective, that it could come up with processes that your company hasn't been, that is
It
not
hasn't
familiar
done, yeah.
with, because I mean, unless you're the only business in the world
That does what you're doing.
that,
Yeah.
does what you're doing, you see, even from a consult, I mean, there's nary a business that's going to be that unique that you can't put down, and there are processes that are actually uploaded online, and you
Yeah,
can say,
true.
get get this, it still doesn't replace the fact that you either need somebody to run it and run it, as a person who, because I mean, the goal of working your business is to keep people close to you. The AI element, it's not gonna talk to you and say, "Good morning, Francis. Let's do something great today." It's not gonna initiate. It's not gonna create initiatives or look at their department and say, "Here's something to do this second year for Q1 or H2," and say,
Mm.
"I'm creating an initiative." I don't think AI, if AI had initiatives, you'd be waking up and your chat GPT will be talking to you, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
and and I'm just saying, like, so going back, let's just keep pulling this back to our topic. Like, if you're a business, how do you scale? Do you scale AI first? Do you scale human first? I think the question, for me, the idea is, you look at the problem and then you ask AI.
And then you ask AI
But
what to do. Do I
but
AI this
do I
person?
AI first? Do
Do I hire first? And then just let it just let it
let it
decide,
decide?
because you just can't decide, so just let it decide for you.
And maybe the question is like, imagine if you ask yourself the question, can you replace me?
Sometimes I feel like so the other scenario, like the other, I guess, situation that I can um compare this to. So, like for example, speakers, right? Like, so I've done quite a bit of speaking. You have as well, and we do teach other people. For some of the things we've done, like for example, inclusivity. You and I have done talks about that. We have done talks about running an agency and things like that. Those are knowledge that you're passing on to someone else, but then it's still up to the listener, right? Up to whoever is using the AI to figure out, interpret what's being said, and then
Uh-huh.
decide what to do. And so even if we give everyone our knowledge, it'll come up, sometimes it'll still come up different because they will have a different way of interpreting it based on the context, their business context. What exactly are they experiencing now? Because while if you like move back, most situations are the same. When you get to the nitty gritty, the details, your decision
Yeah.
making may change because of those tiny details, which is the same thing with using AI or hiring. It really depends on where you are in your business. I mean, if okay, let's be real. If you're
Yeah.
not, if you're not technically savvy and you haven't used AI to know its scope and limitations, then of course your first instinct is to hire someone, and maybe even hire someone who actually knows that side of things, and you can get leverage for your company, right? Like hire
Yeah.
someone who is more AI savvy, maybe
AI
not even
savvy.
tech savvy, but hire someone who does that so that you can get more capacity, expand your capacity for your company. Maybe not even you,
And
but
you know
still
that
you.
you're hiring, yeah, and you know
Mm-hmm,
that you're hiring somebody who's not only efficient with their skill set, but
mm-hmm,
they're also leveraging AI to further increase their I guess in a way, here's somebody who's not doing AI, here's somebody who's doing AI. You realize that even if they both have the skill sets,
mm-hmm.
if they both had if they both had the same skill set, one will be functioning much faster because he's saying, run this program, run this script to because they get the nitty gritty out of the way,
Yeah.
right? They get the nitty gritty out of the way. So, sorry, continue.
No, so that's really how I think about things, especially when scaling a business. So I understand what you said, like really really early in this episode regarding product market fit, like um you know getting sorry, looking at your market, interviewing your market, maybe interviewing your ideal customers, right? Just to see if the business that you have is actually expandable or is actually worth to scale. And even those conversations need to be human, right? Like
Uh-huh.
I as much as people understand that there's AI right now, and actually if you think about it, AI can do the interviews, but then you will not get, I don't think that you will get the answers that you're looking for if you're looking for product market fit. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
you'll get the answers yet. So it can, but what it can do is after your interviews, like the human side of it, of having interviews, is this actually the product that you need, like getting the feedback, product feedback, and everything, have AI summarize, then go ahead. Like as far as scaling goes, it is hand in hand. I think it is a balance of having a human doing an oversight, or a human who has expertise. So a human robot, no, a human that has expertise in that area, but then have your team also use AI to enhance and get leverage for
Yeah,
your
no,
company. Is yeah.
how are you using AI to empower yourself? The truth is, the AI revolution is possibly here to stay. Whether it's going to
Oh yeah.
stay at the pace that people seem to be looking at it, or will it pull back? Is there a bubble that will burst and correct itself eventually? The point is, it's here to stay.
Yeah.
And the idea is you can either be on one side of it or the other. And you can be on the side of AI and say, parang, you know, it's that age old battle between film and Photoshop, which is again one of those buzzwords. You can
Or
either be on the
CGI
side
and non CGI, which what
CGI
happened
and
with
non.
like the Odyssey, right? So I'm so into the reels of the Odyssey, because they didn't use
That
CGI.
was interesting.
Yeah, but anyway,
Yeah, I mean,
going back.
it's neither is a bad thing, but the
Mm,
point is CGI is here to stay.
Yeah.
right? CGI is here to stay. Photoshop was here to stay. Even the, from the even the dot-com burst, you said there was a massive correction, but the internet was here to stay. I think AI is here to stay, and it's just a question of whether you're on the right side of history when it happens. The value between people who are early adopters is are the people throwing the dice.
Mm.
Who, with one, some will crash and burn, some will say, "Oh yeah, landed on the right decision." It's really that, that Takeshi's castle. You don't really know what door you're passing through, and it's just the roll of the dice whether you landed.
Mm.
It doesn't make you a genius if you landed on the right square.
Mm.
You
It's a game of
you were just
chance.
rewarded, exactly, but you were
Mm.
rewarded for your audacity. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
people who are making the more intelligent decisions, who looked at one died and the other still alive, let's go with the person who's still alive, are the people who are making the right decisions.
The other thing that I was thinking about this was how much people underestimate how much you need to know to make AI effective, right? Like even for scaling a business or even your day to day, there's a lot to know. It's not even just prompting anymore. Yeah, to actually make it effective. It's not like Google where you can just ask what is X. Like it's not even that. You do
I mean, you
have to
can.
learn. You can, yes, but are you going to be given the answers that you're looking for? Or even like, for example, like when we make scripts or we make content, right? Like you can't just say create a blog for topic A and expect
Mm.
that it'll give you all of the answers that you're looking for, or even the writing style that you're looking for that's aligned with your brand or your the tone for your brand, right? Like I think people just really underestimate that there's a lot to learn before you can make AI effective for your company, even in just making
Yeah.
content, even if ideation, you still do need to know concepts before you even make it at least work for you. And the reason why I keep thinking this way is because it's been fun playing around with ChatGPT and Claude and having them do all of these things, vibe code a website, vibe code an assessment, which I have done, right? Right, like vibe code an assessment, but then what? Right, like now we get into the details of where to publish this, how to publish this, how to maintain said website that I vibe coded. It does get your foot in the door, but there's just a lot more that you need to know when it comes
Eventually,
to
eventually, I mean,
Mhm.
eventually, somebody can come in and sort of, personality their way into something.
Mhm.
I think there were those wild stories back then, like engineers who bluffed their way and stayed like an entire year without really knowing how to code. That's the reality of things. But eventually, the lack of knowledge will catch up.
Also, yeah,
It will catch up. Truth is, you can, parang, you can Wix yourself, Shopify yourself into like, tada, here's a website, here's an e-commerce website, and maybe that's annoying for people who learned how to do hello world, uh right. But the truth is now, as a person, you are dependent on that shortcut, that cheat, right? You're paying
yeah,
for the privilege of having a ready-made website, or the fact that if you wanted to say, I actually want it to look a certain way, you don't know where to start. You now have
yes,
to depend on the tutorials or pay for expert services to make those changes happen.
yeah,
I mean, that's the truth and the value of it all. Like, I wanted to skip past the part HTML CSS coding vibe, because there are, code monkeys for that. And the reality is now, I didn't want to. I want it. You get an engineer and say, hi, be part of my team, create it. And now you say, you're the one with the ideas. I want this blue green. I want this and that, this and that. You now have to deal with not being able to do it yourself and being dependent on that person. Same thing. So if you said, hey, AI, build me a website, you're always going to be dependent on. And when something actually goes wrong and you're like, how do I, how do
How
I,
do I backpedal?
yeah, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't know where to fix. If you bought a
Mm-hmm.
t-shirt and said, I want it to look like this, and then you cut it up this way and then it started fraying and you're like, wait, how do I stop the fraying? You don't know how to sew things, right? That I mean, that's where I stand in
Yeah.
those things. You either suffer because you vibe coded, or you can vibe code and say, let's learn how to do this now, then backpedal and then say, now I need to learn things from scratch, right? Or
Yeah.
get rich, hire more people.
Yes. Yes. Because I remember having this question before we went to SASCon. We're like, okay, like it's so fun to vibe code stuff. Like I can do this, which I haven't done before. And then we went into this specific workshop where they did teach us like cloud code.
Yeah.
But then they already had prep work done, like the language and all of these rules and cloud code,
uh
even before we did anything. Okay. And I'm not a developer, just so everyone knows. I am not a developer, but we've been around developers enough and software enough to kind of understand some rules, some UI, some UX. Okay. But once we did the vibe code, it's also I asked the developer question. So after this, what happens next? Because that was my question after. Like, okay, it's now live, and then what? Like, it's not like I know how to maintain this. So yes, you still will have to figure out where your weaknesses are. It's still this. I think if any, that's still the same. It's still the same concept before and now. Like figure out where your weaknesses are and hire for that.
mhm.
It's still also a concept that I still agree to. Because as much as yes, you can learn it, but if you want faster results, then hire someone to just do these things, and because that's their area of expertise. Huh. Jeez.
Mm.
I think it's what we've talked about is a lot to grasp. I think the funny thing is I think you and I have talked about AI and, being people first and human first, and where does AI stand in our business a lot in the last 2 years, right? Like even in our strategy meetings, we talk about it a lot. The thing that like doesn't surprise me is how we're still like very much human. Like
Yeah.
you need humans in this equation. Like that has never changed for you and I.
Number one, not only has it never changed, real humans like you and I, who are real and
Yes,
human.
this is not AI generated.
Hi, this is your real human friend, Francis, who is definitely
but
not
but
AI.
here's what was your line earlier? But here's what nobody's telling you. But
But
here's
here's
the
what
truth.
here's the truth nobody talks about.
Like, just to prove that we're human. Like here, look, it's human.
Yes, look.
Look, look.
Look.
But you know what? So just to wrap it up, we are very much curious about what's your take about this. Like when you're now in the era of AI, what has changed in terms of scaling businesses? Please
Are
do
you a
comment.
business person? Are you a business person who has who has found themselves in a position that I needed to scale? And let's just talk scale. And what
Mm,
were the things that came to your mind when you said, I need to scale? I need to deal with an issue that is bugging my team. Did you think AI first? Did you think human first? Did you think AI solution? Did you think human solution? Comment. That's it for today's episode of Business. But the conversation doesn't stop there.
let's keep the buzz going. Please follow Virtua on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Send us your thoughts and let's talk business.
And remember, you can find Business on YouTube, Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and TikTok, so you can listen anytime, anywhere. And until next time, keep hustling, keep innovating, and keep making moves.
See you on the next episode. Bye
Bye.
bye.